Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Gotham Talks. Now, we just got finished tonight's episode, which was titled The Executioner, and it is the ninth episode of the series, and it is by far my favorite episode yet of season 3. A lot of very awesome stuff happened in this episode. It was very emotional, it had a lot of funny elements, and it was a pretty dark episode. Not that the other ones haven't been dark, but this episode I found really awesome because there's two main stories that are going on in this episode. You have Barnes and James Gordon, and you have tada! Finally, I got it. I didn't have it last week, but we finally had it this week. Selena Kyle and Bruce Wayne finally do come back. We do have an episode where it's focused around Pamela Isley, who of course is Poison Ivy. If you guys don't know that from comic books or movies. But we're going to talk a little bit about. I'm going to talk right now just a little bit about the Penguin and Riddler storyline that's been going on in the season so far. And if this is the first episode that you guys are watching, this is has spoilers, so make sure you watch the episode before, or you know what, come after you see the episode. Hopefully, I'll have this posted as soon as possible for you guys to watch. But it was an amazing episode, and I think all of you need to watch it because this show does not get the recognition it absolutely deserves. It's gotten better. Season 1 was good. Season 2 was great. Season 3 is becoming amazing. So I suggest you guys please do watch the show. Support it. You see my awesome pop figure collection, my huge shrine right here of Gotham. One of my absolute favorite shows of all time. So if you're new to this show, I basically give you the rundown of what happened in the episode, what I loved, what I didn't love, and that sort of thing. So yeah, let's get on to it. And like I said, I'm going to talk about a little bit about the Penguin and Riddler storyline. So we see more of Oswald Cobblepot trying to get together with Edward. They are going with Penguin wanting a relationship with Edward Nygma, and we see that Isabella is dead. So that relieves my theory that she was a clone from the Court of Owls, which could in fact happen again. Maybe she was part of the Court of Owls. We'll see if they actually bring her back again. So if you see another one that looks identical to Miss Kringle and Isabella, we'll know for sure. But as of now, she is officially dead. We know that Edward has figured out that the accident wasn't her sleeping at the wheel. He does know that somebody sabotaged the vehicle. He found the cut brakes and stuff. But he, of course, believes it's Butch because in the previous few episodes, it was Edward Nygma who outed Butch to Oswald. So now we're going to see him going after him. Of course, Penguin is really happy because he does not suspect that he's the killer, that he paid to sabotage Isabella's car, so he's safe for now. How long, we don't know, but as of now, their relationship is still kind of going, though Edward has no feelings towards Penguin, mostly as a friend, but not in a relationship material. But yeah, that was the slow part of the episode. Of course, was Penguin and Oswald and Edward Nygma, but it wasn't bad. Of course, it's going to have to progress and further in the story, and I think eventually Edward Nygma will finally find that Penguin was the one who paid and had her car sabotaged. So that is what's going to happen. Now, one of the main focuses of this episode, and it was probably, I wouldn't say my best, but my second best of the episode, and that is the storyline of Barnes and James Gordon. Now, James on the last episode, if you've watched on the last episode at the end, the bad guy tells James that it was Barnes who killed him, who threw him out the window. And the best part about this episode is Barnes knew from the beginning that James was investigating him and the crime. James had a feeling anyway, since the bad guy did tell him, and just all the weird stuff that Barnes has been saying and doing throughout all the episodes since he's been infected by Tetch's sister's virus. So In this episode, we do see Barnes go a little more crazy again. He's just killing people left to right. He's taking the law in his own hands, and he takes James Gordon out for a spin, and finds this guy that's a criminal that Barnes was investigating for a couple years, but never could do anything, and just blasts him with the shotgun. Of course, showing himself to Gordon, since he did know that Gordon knew about him, and tries to frame Gordon for the murder to get the police after him and eventually kill Gordon before they could find out of his illness and his infection. Leslie Tompkins does help Bullock, of course, with James. James does call Bullock to ask for help since he's being chased by Barnes, which was an awesome scene. A pretty cool fight scene between the two of them. Of course, it is stunt doubles, but they've done a really awesome job of finding people that looked exactly like it. It was very hard to tell that there was a stunt double for Barnes's character, but that fight scene was short but very sweet. I absolutely loved how they had the chemistry where James Gordon looks up to Barnes. He's his hero, and he really wants to not have take law in his own hands, kind of thing. He believes in the system, and he thinks all people should believe in that. And seeing his hero turn dark and try to murder him really shows that he has a lot to learn before he becomes the commissioner of Gotham. But James Gordon's character is progressing so awesome. At the beginning of the season, a lot of people didn't really like how he was a bounty hunter. But I think it furthered his character. I really thought that James Gordon was very two-dimensional. Not in the fact that he's just he's just works for the GCPD and he goes here and goes there, whatever they tell him to go. But his character was kind of slipping, I think, in season 2. Even with Theodore Galvan was an awesome nemesis for him. But I find that Tetch was probably the best. Like, Mad Hatter has been spot on in this series. I think they picked an amazing actor to play Tetch, and he was never a fan favorite of mine in the comics or in the animated series. But I really love his character in Gotham, and I think they're doing such a perfect job with it. I can't wait to see what happens with Gordon. We do see Barnes is at Arkham Asylum now. Whether he's going to show up for the later episodes, we'll have to wait and see. But I believe so, since they have to find a cure for Alice's disease, so that they can treat Barnes. But I think Barnes will, in fact, stay in Arkham Asylum, just because they can save him for later. They don't really need to use him now. They could absolutely save his character for closer to the end of the season, or just in between different storylines. So it would be really awesome to see him reprise his role. Whether he does, we'll have to wait and see, guys. My main love of this episode, and you guys know since I complained about it in the last 2 of my starting episodes, since I started 2 episodes ago, this show is focused around Bruce Wayne and Selina Kyle, and those 2 characters are my absolute favorite characters of all time. I think the portrayal by both actors, actor and actress, I should say, have been absolutely incredible. They know how to play their parts perfectly. And just the 2 of them and their chemistry that has been going on since the first season has just heightened and just become this amazing telling of exactly how they are in the comics. And the storyline in this episode where Ivy finally comes and tells Selina that who she is and what happened to her, which is pretty awesome because Selina is completely lost until Ivy does stuff that she used to do, as eating all of her food when she gets there, hugging Selina and telling her that she's Pamela, which is really, really awesome. But when Bruce gets introduced in the episode where he had a feeling that, well, he's seen Poison Ivy before, but he didn't have an idea that that was Ivy in the first place, since they recognize her as a child, not as a full-grown, beautiful woman. So um, Bruce is kind of like weary, like what's going on, kind of thing. But the tension between the two of them, where Bruce and Selena can't really decide whether they actually have a relationship or not, is hilarious. And having Ivy point that out as, "Oh, you two are a couple," is so classic, because in the comics, and even in just like in general, in all the storylines, Selena Kyle is Batman's main love interest, but she'll never admit that she is part of it. Now, there is one storyline where she actually does admit it, and that is from the Dark Knight storyline, The Dark Knight Returns, where she had a full blown relationship with Bruce for all those years, and of course she knows that he's Batman, and him vice versa, of course. But the part that's so hilarious is when Ivy comes out and says, "Oh, you two are a couple," and you know Bruce says yes, because in his world he's with her. He confessed his feelings, and he thought that Selena had the same towards him. And Selena just goes, "No," as in like a shock, like, "I don't know if we are, if we're not. Should I say it? Should I not?" And it was just a hilarious part. But their storyline does progress as Ivy does steal um, a necklace, which later gets revealed as a key to what we don't see in the episode. It's going to be used for future reference. Bruce does have it, and they get attacked by what I believe is the Court of Owls. And since the storyline is focused on the Court of Owls, I think that's where it's going to progress, and we'll have to wait and see what happens in the next episode. But now Bruce has Selena and Poison Ivy living with him just for a while, until Selena's place is safe to go back to again, or she finds a new place. Just having Bruce in the episode helping Selena, and trying to figure out what's going on and who this Court of Owls are, just really heightens the series. You have more going on than you did in the previous season. Even though the previous season was amazing, I think that the Court of Owls and the larger scheme of a story is just more interesting in in Mad City. But this episode was probably the best that I've had seen all season, and if we can have more episodes like pumping out like this, it's going to be incredible. We still have Lee and her fiance storyline mixed with the love triangle with James Gordon. We have Bruce, we have Selena, and now Poison Ivy. We have the Court of Owls. We have Captain Barnes. What are they going to do with him? We have the Penguin storyline. There's so many storylines that are still going, which is so incredible, because they don't they expand their stories until the final episode of the season. So that's what I really love about the show. The fact that it is Gotham, it's Batman before it becomes Batman, is just the best. Like I said, it is my favorite TV show, and this episode was probably the highlight of the season. So if you guys haven't watched it, make sure you do watch it, because it is so good. And right away when you guys finish, you're gonna be like, he was right. I love that episode. So if you guys love this episode of Gotham Talks, make sure you check back next Monday for a new episode. I do try to get these episodes on after I watch the show, so it stays fresh in my memory, just like Xavier in the X-Men. It's fresh in my memory. But yeah, if you guys like this, please do continue watching. Subscribe to my channel and do watch my other videos that I do. I do a lot of unboxings. There's a lot of fun videos on there. So please do join up. And thanks for watching, guys. See you next Monday.